Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and game 1 in a series between GungFuBanda and Roxas's LZ here on Al-Terzim Stronghold TE. Yes, I am trying to cast StarCraft 2 again. Apparently there was a little bit of admin shortage for StarCraft 2 for the Zotac Cup, so the replays were not released up until now. I know it's been quite some time since I've cast some StarCraft 2, and I am very much looking forward to some of these games. We see GungFuBanda spawning as the green Protoss player on the top left-hand side of the map, meanwhile LZ spawning as the purple Zerg. Zerg versus Protoss, obviously one of the 6 possible matchups here in StarCraft 2. And I am really curious as to how the game is going to unfold. Now, all of my current metadata is all from about 2 to 3 months ago. So my metagame and where these players are going to be playing and how these players are playing is really going to be more of an eye-opening experience. Let's take a look at the map here. We can see that there's a large wide opening here, and there's a fairly well easily protected natural expansion inside your own base. Also, based on the size of Al-Terzim, I am expecting both of these players to be going for expansions relatively early. It looks like both of them are going to be going for a hatchery and a nexus first, as GungFuBanda has yet to place down a gateway. We can see that there is a hatchery here, and, well, what does a Zerg player do when his opponent goes for Nexus first? Well, oftentimes he goes for a third hatchery, and this third hatchery here is going to be pretty well protected as well. There is a narrow choke point here, there's some brush here, but that's not really much of a problem for Zerg players, as they often place overlords in this location and even off over here to see if units are trying to fly their way in. Based on this, I am not expecting any action for the meantime, as both players are still setting up their bases. Now, taking gas is going to be the first indication as to when players are going to try to be aggressive. You can see GungFuBanda now taking up 1 assimilator, going to be placing down 2. He has been chrono boosting out probes, but he is currently supply blocked. Now going to continue to chrono boost out those probes as well. Meanwhile, back on the Zerg neck of the woods, you can see an extractor and a spawning pool has come into play. 16 drones, the perfect saturation for a Zerg. No diminishing returns, as we're now seeing both the second and the third base start to get saturated here. Alright, probes now starting to do a little bit of scouting, the walking distances, a little bit of walking time between the bases here, as both players still have no idea where the other player is. This probe, however, going to come up. Is it going to spot the overlord? No, it is not. So he cannot deduce that his opponent has spawned over here on the bottom right. We are taking a look at the Nexus now down over here as well. We are going to see some chrono boosting down over here and trying to get further saturation, as we are looking at 24 probes versus 22 drones. But that's quickly going to flip, as LZ is now birthing those queens. Those queens, very effective. It essentially increases all of the hatchery productions by about 150% if you are perfect on your timing with those spawn larvae and those larva injects. No one's really perfect though, so you are going to be getting about 120 to 130% increase, as we're looking at a mothership core now being trained up. So the mothership core just going to fly around the map, not do anything, and both of these players are just posturing right now. Right now, it feels like I'm watching a game of chess where no one wants to trade pawns at all, and it's rather for a slow game. You can see that these units are now finally making their way out across the field. A Zergling gonna make its way out. It's gonna get intercepted by this mothership core, but it may be able to run by. Yeah, simply gonna run by, and perhaps even try to get inside this space. What we're looking now is, what is GungFuBanda really going to be doing? He does have two gateways warping in, and now he's also adding in a sentry, or excuse me, a Stargate. That Stargate is extremely important, as the probe, unable to catch up to that Zergling. That Zergling looks like it will be able, no, does not get away, as it ends up getting turned around. We are adding this Stargate here, and it's more of a ninja Stargate, a location that will not commonly get scouted out. Meanwhile, down over here, Overlord now in position as well. We may be setting up a proxy pylon. Yes, we are. And we are going to try and see some aggression on both sides. with a map as large as this, I am not surprised that GungFuBanda gonna try and backdoor some action as well. I forgot to set that I was away. All right, yeah. Well, I am casting hello. I don't even know how to Vitten Ho. Hello to you as well. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue to just cast this game here. You can see more units are warping in. The sentry is holding position right there, and you can see that this is actually a very, very strong hold here. Now, there is going to be, however, a force field that will be shot down here in just a moment. Meanwhile, you can see that the Zealots have now started their aggression on the far side. The Zealots may simply walk up over here and inside the base, going to try to engage. The Queens are there as well. And are we going to perhaps see even a time warp? The Queen is getting in some easy damage, and this is not good news for that Mothership Core. That Mothership Core needs to get away, but the Quad Queen is more than enough to handle that. The Zerglings are now running back, and it looks like GungFuBanda's attack is pretty much going to fall incredibly short. Yes, a lot of Zerglings will get lost here. The Zealots are holding their line. But let's take a look at this. 50 probes versus 46 drones, and we're going to be seeing even more drones trained up, most likely. 11 over 24 supply here, 17 over 24, 12 over 24, as a number of new evolution chambers were just thrown down. Proxy pylon of GungFuBanda, that attack is going to be stopped short, as we're looking at 73 compared to 78 supply. Coming back around, level 1 weapons upgrades for those Zealots to try and slice through those Zerglings, gonna be very important. Meanwhile, we do not have any upgrades on those drones yet, and more importantly, those Zerglings, as they will get taken out. We can see that the Zerg Carapace upgrades has just now been started, as the sentries are not defending this at all. This could be very bad. The sentries are now trying to hold position here. However, we are going to get no cancellation. So that is a horrible loss there, as the Zerglings are still doing a great job. Beautiful force fields, though, as those Zerglings have no reason to still be in this fight. It looks like another pylon will get taken down. There it goes, but no cancellation on the Nexus means that a full 400 minerals were lost instead of just 100. That is going to set him further behind, as GungFuBanda is now down about 700 resources compared to his opponent. One Phoenix on the route, flying around looking for some perhaps easy overlords. Meanwhile, there's a cancellation there, as another Nexus will be placed down. Perhaps another pylon should be placed down as well to try and limit the surface area that is exposing that Nexus. The less surface area a building has, the harder it is for Zerglings to try and take it out. As you can see that the Zerglings are still in position there. They could try and flank around here and even get inside on this direction to perhaps possibly do a run by, but there is one Zealot on guard in position there. Photon cannons, gateways, this is going to make it much more difficult for the Zerglings to do anything, as you can see that the Oracle off over here did get 3 worker kills, but the worker kill count, 63 drones compared to 59, really not that much of an advantage at all. We still see a huge supply advantage for the Zerg, as the Banelings are now going to try and rush on in. Oh, there's a couple of Banelings there splashing on their target. You can also see that the Nexus is about to fall. Force fields, however, are holding things rather nicely, as the Banelings are still unable to squeeze their way through. Banelings now going to try and rush on in. There's a cancellation, as more force fields are coming in as well. A nice Baneling hit from the back, but GungFuBanda is in a really fortified position here. He is going to take minimal, he is going to lose everything, but he's going to trade extremely well here. As you can see that the resource difference, well, just now switched to only an 800 difference, as well as the Oracle now joins in on the fight. The Oracle trying to kill Zergling after Zergling after Zergling, and it looks like it will be able to do a lot of those killing there. Already up to 13 kills, 14 kills. The Zergling's unable to finish off that last pylon. It was down to 2 hit points, but it does barely stay alive. 600 resource loss difference. However, every moment that we see LZ just constantly canceling this Nexus, or forcing a cancellation on this Nexus, is exactly playing into LZ's plan. And every time LZ is trying to cancel this Nexus so that his opponent cannot get any further ground. He knows that his income is vastly superior to his opponent, and now he doesn't even need to try and engage. All he needs to do is just attack with these small cautionary forces, and as long as he's attacking with these small cautionary forces and forcing even inefficient trades, he knows that his economic advantage of about 1100 resources a minute is going to be more than enough. Overseer now flying by over here. You can see that a Phoenix is going to end up shooting that Overseer pretty easily, as we're now looking into the late game of an Ultralisk Cavern and a Spire. Ultralisk Cavern, obviously, for those Ultralisks, and that is going to just add a little bit more staying power to the current rushes that LZ has been doing. The Zerglings, obviously very, very rabid, very high DPS, but a rather short lifespan. Their strength is in numbers. Ultralisk, however, will be able to absorb much of the damage, and Ultralisk cannot be ignored either, since they do have an effective splash attack. However, what is going to be going down here, you can see that there is brush on the far side. There are a couple of warp gates here. One photon cannon's not going to stop much in the terms of this 1-1, almost 2-2 Zergling push, and I believe that's what we are waiting on, or perhaps even the adrenal glands, as the Zerglings will increase their attack rate significantly, thereby increasing their attack, their DPS. We are almost sitting on 3,500, almost now 4,000 resources by LZ, and I am rather curious as to what LZ is doing. You can see that he's sitting on 32 larvae, and what most likely he's doing right now is he's just waiting for that Spire, and then all of a sudden cranking out 17 Mutalisks. That is the power of the Zerg, being able to construct one building and then all of a sudden train 17 tier 2 units in a moment's notice. Alright, 18 tier 2 units. We are going in the chitinous army and chitinous plating in addition to the Protoss ground weapons level 3 upgrades. We are looking at, what, 4 bases. The main base is nearly mined out, and he's going up against a 3-base GungFuBanda, who is heavily saturated. He does have Immortals, he is going into Void Rays, but all he can really hope for is that his opponent makes a terrible mistake, and he has very strong positioning. Superior numbers, just brute force coming in from LZ. He's been able to trade pretty efficiently here. You can see LZ now perhaps going to lose one of his hatcheries. No, it looks as though 2 of the last Zealots will get taken down. There are Queens here with plenty of energy. Would have been able to transfuse that hatchery and get it back up, if not to full life. Alright, here we go. Mutalisks now charging on in. You can see that the Stalkers are trying to engage. Photon Overcharge Void Ray there, as the Photon Overcharge is coming into position. Alright, we can see also the Guardian Shield, but I do not believe it affects actually the armor on the Nexus, as we are still looking at a strong fight here. One Void Ray trying to get into position. You can see all of those Colossus now backing off, and all that we're really looking at now is a complete transition away from this Mutalisk army. Let's take a look. Only 7 Mutalisks, and we are now training up more Phoenixes by GungFuBanda. He's also even training up a second Stargate and getting up that Fleet Beacon for that plus range. All he's really trying to do is just fend off the attacks here, but it doesn't look like it's gonna work. The Banelings may be able to just splash on in right there. Oh, unable to get through that small opening, as the Banelings are absolutely destroying this space here. So far, GungFuBanda is pretty much down to 1 mining base only, as the Mutalisks are still trying to trade rather inefficiently against some Stalkers. Alright, here we go now. Going into Ultralisk with a whole bunch of Zerglings. We have 51 larvae on the field. That means that we could have 102 Zerglings in a moment's notice, and LZ wouldn't really mind that exchange. You can see that the Zerglings are down over here cleaning up the Zealots. It looks as though the hatchery may get taken down. No, it does not. Down to 85 hit points, and it does survive again. Meanwhile, Queens are in position off over here. This hatchery has taken a fair bit of damage. Spine Crawlers are all in position as well. It looks as though the Spine Crawlers will fall. This Queen, is it going to get transfused? No, it is not. But with 2 armor, it did have a lot of reduced damage anyways from those Zealots. GungFuBanda sitting on 195 supply versus 150 supply. He knows that he is winning this war, and he is just waiting for the right opportunity to trade efficiently. GungFuBanda does have an Oracle over here, does have a lot of kills, but he's not really going to be able to take down this poor Corruptor. That Corruptor, a lot of damage here, as we now see an Archon getting dropped in over here as well. Archon already up to 13 kills before it gets taken down, and GungFuBanda is just being rather annoying to LZ. LZ is looking to finish this. You can see that he has 45 larvae again, mass Zerglings and Ultralisks. with Corruptor support should be enough here as the Zerglings now charge on in. Those Overlords are sitting in the back here. All the Ultralists going to be able to make a big enough impact as we can see all of those Colossus, Immortals, Stalkers just getting into position. Alright, looks as though the Oracle looking to try to get more damage again. Up to 27 kills. It is Executor. And where is it going to be going? Perhaps down over here to try and clean up this expansion. So far, we are still mining essentially off of 1, 2, 3, 4 bases for the Zerg. The Zerg doesn't have many drones here, but he could easily transfer that. Meanwhile, still setting up another one here at the 3 o'clock position. LZ now ready to charge on in. Let's take a look. Plenty of larva left over to have that follow-up Zergling play. And now in come the Broodlords. Broodlords just going to completely charge on in here. You can see that there is one pylon down over here. And that pylon is just showing a whole bunch of Ultralists ready to charge in. Void Ray now getting in position. There is that massive attack, that Broodlord dealing so much damage, but the Queen there with the transfusion preventing the Void Ray from getting its kill. Ultralists meanwhile running on in there. They're just not caring at all as the Banelings are rolling through everything and absolutely destroying this base. Alright, there goes the Nexus. The Broodlords still plenty in numbers as we have the GG. LZ taking Game 1 in this series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 1. Please stay tuned for Game 2.